A lot of houses try to integrate nature into the architecture, but Project Touching Eden in Singapore takes that idea further than almost anything I've ever seen. This isn't just about indoor outdoor living, it's the entire house that's been designed to dissolve into the surrounding landscape. Notice how you don't have floor-to-ceiling windows just because this whole section right here, it's actually a planter, and then the plants that are right next to your window kind of blend in with the surrounding forest behind you, almost acting the same way an infinity pool would behave. When you have that infinity pool connecting with the ocean beyond, it does that same seamless transition, and here it's doing the same thing but with plants. So from this angle from above, you can tell that the house is very long and narrow, and that is because of the plot of land that they had to work with. But what is more interesting is that if the roof wasn't there, I wouldn't be able to tell that there's a house here. And the main reason as to why is because the entire house is wrapped in this outer skin that is this lattice work made out of treated wood and metal. And suddenly this isn't your typical glass box house because it has this outer skin that filters the light beautifully, that adds privacy, and not only that, but blends in perfectly with the surroundings. I really like this entrance area because you don't abruptly enter from the driveway straight into the house. You have to go through this little transition that really sets the mood, and with the plants on both sides, I really think it's great. And the fact that it's all open, I like it a lot. I'm not a big fan, however, of this wall right here that either forces you to go right or left. However, I do understand why they made that decision because they wanted to add privacy to the inside of the house. Already this is all glass and this is all glass. You want to increase the privacy yet have light seeping through all the rooms of the house, and they accomplish that by bringing that outdoor lattice work into the inside. So far, very good. I think the pool is amazing, and I also love these planters. I kind of framed the stairs to go inside of the pool. I will say maybe I really like the Bali tiles. I like greenish tile, turquoise tile. I think this would have fit so much better with this type of house, but that's just a minor detail. What I really want to talk about is the indoor-outdoor flow here. You don't have continuation of materials on the floor nor on the ceiling, and also your tracks for the windows are extremely bulky and clunky. I've definitely seen better applications of this, especially when you have a project this biophilic and you're really pushing the boundaries as much as possible. I think details like this, there are already houses out there who aren't pushing the boundaries and already accomplishing these details much better. This is exactly what I was talking earlier about the lattice work around the property in all of the plants. It's going to bring this beautiful sunlight into the property. This is so much better than just having it completely exposed and having it drowning in sunlight. This balances it out perfectly. This house already feels somewhat like a yacht because it's long and narrow, and instead of being ocean, it's forest. But another reason why I feel like it feels like a yacht is because the outer walls have this fixed glass pane at the bottom that acts like a railing, and the glass panes at the top all slide, giving this railing design, and then you feel protected with the lattice work and the plants, and it's just wonderful. I think this is such a clever design. This is what I was talking about on the ground floor. I would have loved to see continuation of indoor materials to the outside to blur the lines between the indoor and outdoors as much as possible. Really nice chandelier. Goes perfectly with the house. Let's go through some pictures. The front of the house, I think, is the best shot, and what is very interesting is that because of the plot of land, it was very difficult to work with, and it forced the house to have this very narrow facade. And despite being this narrow, it looks so good, and I cannot think of another architectural style that would fit this constraints of having this narrow facade as beautifully as this specific style. And that's why I think they knocked it out of the park. Here we have other pictures of the outside, and I quickly want to point out this picture at the bottom. This house plays on the concept of borrowed scenery. Like I was mentioning at the very beginning of the video, when you have all of these plants and they blend in with the landscaping beyond, that doesn't necessarily belong to the house. In this case, it's blending with the Singapore Botanical Gardens. It just joins them visually and makes the Singapore Botanical Gardens almost feel and look like it's part of the house itself. And I think they really did a great job, because it's not that easy to accomplish, and I've never seen a house accomplish that to this level. I think I want to expand on my comment that I made earlier about this house somewhat feeling like a yacht, because I can't help but think this kind of looks like the bow of a ship. And here you can see like how long it is and how it could be like a ship, if that makes sense. Here we have some night shots. I love how it glows from the inside to the outside. It almost looks like this living organism that is fluorescent. Very cool. This is my favorite shot of the entire house. No comments, I'll just let the architecture speak for itself. Here we have a night shot of the pool, and what I like about having all of these plants is that they have this reverse roll during the night. During the day, they filter the light from the sun, but at night they disperse and they filter the light from the inside of the house, creating again those beautiful shadows, but this time from the inside to the outside. Here are some other shots of the pool, and I quickly want to point out this rectangle over here, because we have this big opening where the lattice work stops and it opens up to this planter floating in the middle of the house, so it adds more depth. It's not like a continuous lattice, it has these breaks throughout the house, which makes it much more interesting. And here you have another angle showing this opening. Here you cannot see it too well, but this is the opening, and as you can see, the house goes a little in to allow that planter without disrupting the continuity of the lattice work. Now the indoors is the part that kind of disappointed me a bit about the house, because the exterior is so impressive that it really raises the expectations for what's on the inside, but the inside is nothing that uncommon. I've seen this a million times in other luxury properties, and also like the furniture is not curated. It definitely is very expensive. We'll get on to like how much that chandelier costs above the staircases in a minute. And this might be very cultural about the Southeast Asian clientele. Maybe they don't really like having that experimental vibe inside of the house, or maybe it was too much on the outside that they wanted to play it safe on the indoor, which would make sense. But again, I think this could have been the perfect opportunity to go all out. Again, for the kitchen dining area, same comments. I do appreciate this light fixtures. I think it really goes well with the house. Again, the chandelier here acting like little branches, I think it's very nice. So the lighting is really good in this house. It's just the furniture feels a bit uninspiring. The kitchen could have been definitely much bigger. The island is a bit narrow, and there's definitely a lot of space to have a much bigger island. So this house doesn't have a garage. It does have this oversized cantilever at the front, but that's no replacement for a proper garage. And I'm pretty sure it has one in the basement. And I know this house has a basement, even though I couldn't find any pictures of the basement. And believe me, I made my research. But here is the proof, is that this is the ground floor, and here you can kind of see it kind of continues lower. And if it didn't have a basement, then this whole section here would still be floor, and then there wouldn't be this railing here protecting you from falling below. This is the highest floor of the house, where you have 3 spaces. You have the gym, the office, and at the end you have this terrace. I think this office is probably one of my favorite home offices I have ever seen. I love the wood tones. I think it's very warm, and I also like how the glass panes are not floor to ceiling, adding more privacy. And I mean, it's not as if you were lacking privacy, because your neighbors are literally the birds that fly around the property. You can easily replicate the same look just with money, but the house in and of itself, you cannot replicate it just with money, because it took much more than that. It took vision, it took trusting your guts to really push the boundaries of what it means to have a biophilic house, and just having this whole experimental process of building something that has never been seen before. The outside of the house is definitely not translating to the indoor of the house, and this bedroom feels like it doesn't belong here. It feels like it belongs to any other cookie cutter $1 million house that has no personality. This house definitely has a personality, and they went way too tame on the indoors, and I feel like it was such a missed opportunity. This, I'm pretty sure, is the master bathroom, where you have one vanity here, and I'm pretty sure on the other side you would have a vanity here and here because this bathroom is very symmetrical. Might I add, this bathroom is extremely big, especially considering how narrow the house is. And again, I love this design idea, having these sliding doors, so you can almost have like this outdoor bath while being indoors technically. I already talked about this, but I really do like the chandelier over the staircase. I feel like it fits perfectly with the house. I don't think any other type of house would have had this chandelier and looked as good as this house makes it look. Now for the Saviz Score, we're all rate each criteria out of 10. The layout is solid, but not as optimized as I would have preferred. So yes, the rooms are all open and somewhat separated with partitions. I think that is great. However, there's this double hallway that runs the entire length of the house, and I do believe that we could have deleted one of those hallways to increase the size of each and every one of those rooms. Not to mention that the layout is heavily constrained by the shape of the house. It's very long and narrow, and the kitchen didn't have a family room adjacent to it. And while there was the space to do so, it wasn't possible with this specific layout configuration. The office is at the upper floor, so maybe the culture over there is different, but over here, like in the Americas, we always like to have a office near the entry or somewhat near the entry, so that way when you're having business partners coming to the house, they could go straight into the office without going through the house before. For the layout, it gets a 7.5. In terms of scale, I feel like every room had enough space to breathe. Also, the circulation pathways were ample enough without being too big that it would feel almost uncomfortable. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. In terms of social magnetism, I think this house does a great job of incentivizing people to socialize within the house. I think the outer layer being about this lattice work, it makes the house much more intimate, and also having this railing work around the house on the upper floors where you can slide the upper panel, it makes it feel like you're on a yacht, and it just makes it feel like you're alone in this forest, or in this ocean of forest, should I say. However, the outside area did not fully satisfy me, and I'm aware that this plot of land was very difficult to work with, but still, there was no outdoor kitchen nor outdoor dining area. There was this lounge in this pavilion by the pool. I did appreciate that, but still it's not enough to just really pull in people from the inside to the outside, especially on a house that the whole purpose is to blend both spaces together. You would want to ideally spend almost equally as much time in the inside as on the outside, and in this house, I just don't think that would be the case. Singapore's climate is very hot and humid throughout the year, so naturally people tend to stay indoors. But what I was trying to say is that this house is simply not well equipped to receive people outside. For that reason, it gets an 8. When it comes to material honesty, this house does a great job. It also helps that they had a great budget to work with, so that meant that I didn't have to cut corners with opting with cheaper or synthetic materials. So if it looks like wood, it is wood. If it looks like stone, it is stone. And this house does a really good job. This category in itself does not talk about continuity of materials from the indoor and the outdoor. Like I mentioned, this house could have done better, but just about the materials themselves. And in this case, there was no imitation. It was always the real deal. So for that reason, it gets a 10 out of 10. For biophilic aperture, this house does so many things so well. For example, blending into the landscaping, I don't think I have ever seen a better example of that than in this house. When it comes to the indoor and outdoor floor, this house, of course, it has great flow because it has those sliding glass doors. But any house that has those same doors can say, my flow to the outside and inside is just as good as this house, even though this house is a million times more biophilic because they didn't take it further. Not having the continuation of materials and having that clunky sliding glass door track that could have been that much more seamless because it's been done so many times before, I think it was a great missed opportunity. It gets a 9.5. Because this project has limited public information about it, the specs and amenities category is being evaluated conservatively based on what I can see, and there's no available images of the basement. I don't even know if there's a garage nor a chef's kitchen or other potential amenity spaces, leaving a big element of mystery surrounding the home. So while the house may offer more than what's publicly shown, the scoring has to remain grounded in what can actually be evaluated. And from what I see, it has strong essentials: spacious rooms, a pool, a rooftop terrace, a gym, an office, and a secondary lounge. But compared to other ultra luxury projects, the observable amenity package remains relatively restrained. 6 out of 10. Lastly, form over function. I think every space looked beautiful and functioned just as nicely. I will say the kitchen could have been much bigger because there was a lot of space to work with in that area. But overall, it was really good, so that's why I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10. For the bonus point, I will be giving it an extra 0.5 because not only did they win an award at the Architecture World Festival, but it also, just looking at it, it doesn't need to win an award. It pushes the boundaries. It just is so good in its architecture from the outside. It's such a shame that the indoor didn't follow through. If it did, then it would have been the full point for sure. Singapore may already be the world capital when it comes to biophilic architecture, but seeing projects like this that really pushes the boundary forwards really redefine what biophilic architecture can look like and what the opportunities are for future architecture projects. And I'm really excited to see how this specific type of architecture can evolve through time, because unlike other architectural styles, it's not restrained with some rules. It can really run wild and free in any direction, just like nature itself. And with that, take care, and I'll see you on the next one.